pushing buttons and pulling triggers. This is Gun Funny.
Welcome to Gun Funny, episode 218. Today I'm going to chat with Jennifer Blake, aka Gun Girl Jen, discuss red flag legislation on the move in Congress, highlight seal-cased ammo coming in the U.S., and talk about how Springfield was not amused at a meme. I'm your host, Ava Flanell. Jen, so happy to have you on the show. And
hey, happy to be here.
You actually have your fiance, Derek, in the background, which he could make I know he's not going to stay for the whole show, but Derek, you want to say hi?
Hi, guys.
And Derek, you're a pro shooter, right?
Yep, and gunsmith.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Well, before we carry on with the rest of the show, I just wanted to say congrats on getting engaged, which actually it'll almost be a year since he proposed, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was in February.
January.
It was Yeah, okay. Yeah. So congrats on that. But we'll talk about more about that here in a second. But I just wanted to say congrats and wanted to tell Derek hi. Smith & Wesson, actually, you had a chance we shot their AR-15 together. It was in Florida, right?
Yep.
I'm like, eventually you start traveling so much. I'm like, wait, was it Minnesota or Florida?
Yeah, I saw you in Texas. I saw you in Florida.
Yeah. And then I also saw you in Minnesota. Or not Minnesota.
Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. Yeah. One of those M states.
Yeah.
You're pretty familiar with their gun, but I also saw that you recently posted the M&P 380 Shield Easy, and it was in one of the ladies concealed carry classes, which is definitely one of my go-to recommendations for people that are brand new to firearms. Is it yours as well? Do you tend to kind of lean towards that?
It is, especially when they don't really have the technique down.
Yeah.
That really helps them get started. And then even a lot of elderly, they think that they need a revolver because they can't work a slide. And then they get this revolver and then their hands are too weak to even squeeze the trigger, that heavy trigger. So,
yeah, it's definitely a great gun just for beginners or people that lack hand strength, or even if you don't. It's just, it's a fun gun to shoot. Like for me, I personally enjoy shooting it. And I have quite a few. I have like their performance center ones and the 380 and the 9. And yeah, I have all of their editions and they're all just freaking awesome. So if you guys want to check those out, head on over to smith-wesson.com.
Learn the things you never knew on Deconstructing the Industry.
All right, Jen, for those who aren't familiar, so you're on Instagram, you go by Gun Girl Jen, but for those who aren't familiar with you, can you just give us a rundown of what it is you do in the shooting industry?
Well, I started teaching concealed carry after I started carrying, and I took a class. And at that time, you had to do a 12-hour class in Ohio. And after I did it, and I was like, man, I'd love to talk about guns all day. So I went to become an instructor, and it took off. And then I started traveling with Shoot Like a Girl.
How much experience did you have when you took your concealed carry class?
Well, I grew up hunting, with rifles, shotguns. And then I was kind of carrying before I was supposed to. My dad always had a gun in his pocket before we even had concealed carry. If we were going to town and going to the movies and he forgot it, we had to turn around and go get it. And, back then I didn't understand. I'd be like, Dad, we're just going to the movies. Like, why do you need a gun? It's not a crack house or something. Like,
yeah,
but he was a union pipe fitter and he traveled and, he went places like outside of our little Mayberry. And he knew you could just be at the wrong place, wrong time. Like there isn't like a safe place,
Yeah.
So that was kind of already ingrained in me. And then I started selling real estate and, just someone would call and you drop everything and you meet this stranger at an empty house by yourself. So I had a couple of weirdos. Like one guy started asking me, what kind of weapons I had on me and stuff like that. And I didn't have any at the time, but I did after that. And then I was like, you know what, I should probably take some training. So I started taking NRA classes, and then started taking the instructor courses. And then from there, I was just hooked on learning. And so, I took the shotgun course and the rifle course and then the instructor courses and became a counselor so that I could also certify NRA instructors. And
Wow.
um,
That's awesome. So how long ago did you become an instructor?
oh, it's probably been about 10 or 11 years
Wow.
ago.
Okay. And then you have an interesting story as to like how you got started in three gun.
Yep. So then I was actually a pistol instructor for the NRA Women's Wilderness Escape in New Mexico. I wanted to attend it, but I couldn't really afford it. So I was like, oh, I wonder if they need instructors. So I applied and I got to go out and stay in a cabin for about 18 days. And as the women came in, got to instruct them. And my cabin mate was Lisa Marie from Lucas Oil, and she was putting on the first ever ladies only 3 gun. And she's like, you have to go. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I already had the pistol because I wanted to do it someday, but I didn't know how to compete. I didn't even know how to sign up. So she was like, it's in Atlanta. So I even borrowed the money from my dad to go, and they had loaner guns. So I showed up having never seen a match before. I had my pistol. I borrowed a shotgun and rifle from Kay Michalik and was hooked. Half the time I was laughing at the mistakes I was making, but after I was done, I was like, I have to do that again. And came home and put an AR on layaway at Walmart. Like back in the days that you could do that. They don't even have them anymore. But
Right.
just started like, I got to get this gear, and each week, buying a little bit more so I could do it. And then I was traveling with Shoot Like a Girl, instructing women at Cabela's grand openings and stuff like that. So I had met a lot of people in the industry, and just randomly, you know, someone would be like, oh, what scope are you using? And what are you using for this? And I'm like, well, just basic cheap stuff. And so I had a lot of friends already who helped me out and helped me get into like the sponsor world. And I was just going to do it even if I had to pay for it, let alone, the help and that I get now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Let's go back for a second and talk about something that, and I didn't catch the full name, but it was the NRA for the women's wilderness. Like, what got you originally a three gun?
Women's Wilderness Escape. And it's kind of like a retreat that they do every year. And these women sign up and they go out for a week and they stay in these great cabins and out in New Mexico at the Whittington Center. And each day they learn a different discipline. So one day they learn archery, and then the archery ladies, and the next day they might go to pistol, and then the pistol ladies go to archery. And they learn rifle, they learn shotgun, they might learn a little bit of 3 gun. So
Okay,
it's
so
pretty
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Then after you did your first, three gun, and then, you started getting like a little bit more acquainted, started accumulating more guns and stuff, which one thing that a lot of three gunners will say is like, if you're interested in doing three gun, just like show up to a match. A lot of people will let you borrow their stuff. And you're just like, I don't know. That sounds kind of like they're just gonna let me borrow. I mean, and in your case, you got Kay Mikulek's, gun, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, that seems to be actually kind of the case. But most people keep putting it off because they think they need like the best of the best, like all this awesome gear. And in reality, it's like just just show up, see what you like, and then eventually start upgrading the stuff. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So then, to to me and to you, like, so when I go to that first match and then here's Kay, she was like a rock star to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm already like fangirling and like get to see her and Jerry and like, oh my gosh. And then to know like they just let me keep their guns for the whole weekend. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you're just gonna trust me to take it home and bring it back tomorrow. And then even at the matches, like if something goes down with my shotgun, and they see me struggling and Steph's jamming, before I can even walk off the stage, I might have 3 people come up like, hey, if you need my shotgun, it's over there. And it's awesome. And it might be people you've never even met until that morning. And even a lot of us that have been doing it for a long time, we have extra stuff too.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we would take the stuff off our backs and give it to you, but a lot of times, I mean, we just have extra gear in our bag from doing it for so long
Yeah.
that we have all these spares. So, yeah, for sure.
At what point did you decide to dedicate like your social media to the gun world?
I think social media was already like a pretty big thing. I think I maybe had a picture of my babies, and then kind of
The
my
rest
name
of
was
them.
already Gun Girl Jen. Yeah. Yeah. I I was probably doing it before Instagram was a big thing. And then I don't think I started like a Facebook shooting page until after I started shooting matches. And then I just got a flood. I mean, maybe 100 friend requests a day from shooters all over the world. And I was just like, this doesn't belong on my personal page.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they recommended to the girls, have like a public page for your public stuff. And
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. I'm going to take a quick break real quick, talk about primary arms. As I mentioned last week, Primary Arms is giving away an award-winning optic each month for the rest of the year. I'll be drawing the one for October on Instagram on Monday after the show comes out. If you guys are listening to this right when the show comes out, definitely head on over to Gun Funny Podcast Instagram and enter that drawing, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be drawing a winner, and we're actually giving away, it's the GLX 4-16x50 with the ACSS Apollo. It's an awesome long range optic. It's great for like 6.5 Creedmoor, 224 Valkyrie. For the month of November, they're giving away the SLX ND25 micro dot with the ACSS CQB, which I think I actually have that one. I think I just got it. It's awesome. It's a great compact optic with a wide field of view. It's got the same size field of view as a normal 30 millimeter red dot and a 25 millimeter size, which in fact I do have that, because I knew that when I looked at the size, I was like, I don't know, that's really small, and I don't know if I want that. But then I was like, but I don't want to put something big on this gun. So I went with it, and I was actually like really surprised by how much I could see. It's a really good optic. The drawing will start on the 1st of November. And similar giveaway protocol, all you have to do is just find Gun Funny Podcast on Instagram, follow Gun Funny Podcast, follow Primary Arms online. You're going to like the post and then tag 2 your friends, and you can tag away. Just make sure that it's 2 friends per comment, and you could be entered as much as you want. And then at the end of the month, I'll be drawing a winner for that. In the meantime, check out the optics at Primary Arms. If you find one that you like, remember to use the code AVA, that's AVA, and you'll get a free scope mount with every Primary Arms optic. I'm curious, how have the last 2 years been with like 3-gun matches and stuff, with COVID and stuff? Because I know a lot of it was canceled.
oh yeah, last year was horrible. I've probably never shot so little matches since I've started. And I really didn't think it was going to affect us, because I thought, we're all kind of like Neanderthals and we're outside, and we don't care about that. But,
Yeah.
certain states that we were going to go to actually had, limits and wouldn't let us. So
Wow.
they're starting to come back now, though.
I think when I saw you in Florida, which I'm like, man, how long ago was that? I swear, like the last year and a half, like since COVID, it's like totally like it feels like it just kind of turned my world upside down. But then also with remodeling, I'm like, where the hell am I? What month is it? Forget about the day of the week. I'm like, what month is it? It's early, the end of October. Like when this show comes out, it's going to be Halloween, which is crazy to me. And then I still don't even know what I want to be for Halloween.
Oh yeah, I think it was April.
Okay, so and I remember because they had us do like a 2-gun competition, which you were like, man, I'm kind of nervous about because I haven't really practiced that much. And I was like, yeah, me either. And I'm also nervous because I don't do competitions, which I, totally sucked at.
Yeah, well, and then being like Crimson Trace is one of my sponsors, so I was like, I gotta do good.
Yeah, you're like, don't let them down.
They're actually here,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I felt the same way because I was, sponsored by Smith & Wesson. So I'm like, cool. Well, I guess they're going to realize how badly I suck at shooting.
Oh, no way, man. You were very impressive on pistol.
Yeah, but everything else I like. I didn't really take it seriously. And I remember there was at one point we're talking about hair products, and then they're like, all right, Ava, you're next. And I was like, okay. Didn't
Yeah.
even like hear I think I would suck at
I
competition.
felt bad about that.
Nah, it's not even. I need to take it more seriously if I do get into it. But it is one of those things that people don't realize is that, like, if you're not practicing, it's like definitely a diminishing skill.
Oh yeah, shotgun is my least practiced gun,
Yeah.
and I just had a match a couple months ago, and before that, it had been last fall since I had shot shotgun. And my first stage, I go and everybody was timing out, and I get to shotgun's last gun. I got to pull it up, and I think there's 2 slug targets. Easy. I pull it out of the barrel, go to squeeze the trigger. Oh, safety's on.
Oh yeah, that happens
So
all the time.
yeah, so I got to take the safety off, and then the buzzer went off, so I didn't even get to fire the shot. Oh, that is all my fault. Yeah, from just not handling her.
Yeah, I know. I was the same way. There was a few times where I went to go shoot and I was like, shit, the safety. Huh, okay.
Yeah, and that's like stuff that should have been practiced like in my living room. So easy. Don't even need ammo for that. Like, oh.
Yeah. What about with teaching classes? How was that, with everything in the last year and a half? Like, were you teaching classes or did you guys close down or?
Oh no. Where I'm at in Southern Ohio, it's very rural. I mean, everybody just like wears camo, like as their regular clothes. And so, and we weren't hit real hard. A lot of people just went on about their daily life. And so, but they were freaking out. I mean, we had riots in Columbus, our capital. And so normally in the summer, I don't really do classes because I have a kayaking business. And with COVID, everything else was shut down. I probably was supposed to shut down, but I didn't.
Right.
And I mean, I was like sold out every single weekend, and it was my best year ever.
Yeah.
And normally I don't even have time to do classes, but there were so many people scared last year, like wanting classes, and just they were going out and buying guns, and they didn't even know what gun they wanted. They just like, we have to go buy a gun. And they were standing in line for 6 hours just to buy it. And so last year I was slammed. I mean, I had huge classes and multiple per week, while I was trying to do kayaking too. It's leveled off now.
Yeah.
Really slowed down, but
yeah, it actually has. I was thinking that too. And I'm like, same with me. Last year was like record breaking out of the 8 years that I've been teaching. But I have noticed that I'm like, okay, so it's October. Cause normally, summers, what people don't realize is like in the firearms industry, summers are usually pretty slow, which people are like, no, don't you think that's like when people are buying guns and they want training? For me personally, I've noticed that even with gun stores, it's usually, sales are slow. People are busy with like doing stuff like outdoors, like kayaking, and they're with their families and stuff. And then usually in the winter, that's when things pick up. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, it's October, like things should be picking up. And like it's been steady. And I've been fortunate enough to hire another female instructor who's able to work, like 3 to 4 days a week for me, which is nice. But classes haven't been selling out. And it's kind of weird because it's like, in a way, I think it's a little stupid too for people just to assume that there's not that fear there because there's still so much going on. I mean, with people not working, people quitting their jobs because of vaccine mandates, government overreach. They're saying that food supplies and other supplies are going to be.
We're not going to have Christmas.
Yeah. And so I'm like, how the hell are people like not fearful? Like, have they stopped watching the news? Like, because for me, I'm like, it still seems like the perfect storm for like shit is going to hit the fan.
Yeah. I've never been so just like WTF about the world as I am right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, last year I was just like more calm about it than I am now. So it is weird to me that there aren't more people taking training, but I don't know, maybe we'll see after Halloween, classes will start fucking up a little bit more, but who knows? Have you noticed with like the cost of ammo? I mean, has that affected anything with your classes? Have you found like alternative ways to train them so that they don't have to spend like a ridiculous amount, or like even if they're willing to spend a ridiculous amount, at times you can even find ammo?
Yeah, I've definitely tried to be very considerate about, how we use the ammo and what drills we do,
Hmm.
and doing just like more reps and, like one on target or two on target rather than just like standing there and just emptying a mag.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, this is all the ammo we can find. Can I save like my last 10 rounds, and take them
Yeah.
home with me?
I
And not,
know.
yeah.
And I feel so bad, but that's exactly, I've had the same thing where students are like, do we have to shoot like a whole box? And normally I would, in a class, I'd be like, yeah, just bring 50 rounds. Like that's enough.
Mhm.
We'll do enough drills where, and I still have always made like, where I'm like, I'm not just looking for you guys to blow through a box. I want like each hit to count. And I've always been like that. But now more than ever, I'm like, we're going to also implement snap caps.
Yeah.
And, most students are like, can I just save the rest of what I have? And it's like, how could you say no?
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah. I'm
don't
like, huh?
know.
Yeah, because they're going to go home and who knows when they can get some again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. All right.
And we've never practiced so little. I have like my own little 5-acre range with targets. And, if we have a nice day, like that's what we do for fun. And that's how Derek and I met. And it's not even as fun anymore because we're like, ching, ching.
Yeah, no kidding. I know. I know. Before it was like 25 cents, 20. Now it's like a dollar
Yeah.
every time
And
you pull that trigger.
I've actually probably spent or sent more rounds down range this year just with all the full auto events that we've gone to.
Yeah.
But actually, like, training wise, has
Yeah.
probably never been so little. And
Yeah.
going to these events where it's just like you pick up each gun, like, oh, here's full mag, and you just like blasting it. And I'm like, oh, I want some of this.
I know. You're like, I wish I could just like put some of this in my pocket.
Yeah. Just burning it down.
Yeah, I hear you. I know because at the event in Florida, we were shooting the minigun,
Hmm.
which was awesome. But, and then they also, it was all full auto. Like there really wasn't that many guns available where you didn't shoot full auto. We were shooting like tanks and yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah. Really belt
I don't even want to
fed.
know what the bill was for that event.
Oh, yeah. I think just the minigun was 45,000.
Yeah, yeah. I know I heard something like that too. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about how you and Derek met. So you guys met at a 3-gun match?
Hmm. Yeah.
And
So it was like one of the hardest ones in the country.
uh-huh.
Yep. And that was back when they had Rock Castle Shooting Center in Kentucky. And I think it was his first out of state match ever. And I had already gone down and pre shot the match so that I could RO and work the match. If you do that, you get to like stay for free and you get your match fee covered because a lot of the matches are 300, 350 just to enter.
Wow.
So that helps. So yeah, this little Florida guy pulls up, trying to suck in all the heat he can before getting out in the cold. So yeah, we met there and just kind of clicked, and
And you were
from
like,
there,
oh yeah, I love this guy's shooting skills. Hey.
yeah, shoots so good. Definitely enjoy watching him shoot.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, then just 1,000 miles away, lots of FaceTime.
Yeah.
FaceTiming every day and meeting at other matches on purpose. And he would come to Ohio for 2 weeks, and then he'd go home for 3 weeks. And so luckily he had his own business and I've got mine. So we were able to travel and take time off and see each other. And he's mostly here all year.
Yeah.
About December or January when it gets like really crappy and cold, he goes and visits family for like a month. And everybody's like, well, how's Florida man like in Ohio winter? I'm like, well, he's in Florida. So
yeah, right. Don't blame him, man.
yeah. Yeah. Our goal is to be snowbirds.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds amazing. Okay, let's talk about how he proposed.
Oh yeah.
Because that was, that's a pretty freaking like awesome proposal.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got some guys giving him a hard time because they're like, dude, you're setting the bar too high. Like that was crazy.
Yeah, right. Way to make us look bad.
Yeah. So I had no idea. And we talked about, wanting to do it someday. And so like the day's over, the range is cold, we're shooting full auto stuff all day. And, a lot of the coolest people in the industry were there. And so Jerry and Autumn are about to shoot the tank. And then Will from Forge Relations comes up and he's like, Jen, we did like a random drawing from all the attendees and you won and you get to shoot the tank. And I'm like, what? So I go over there and I get to shoot it after Jerry. And so I'm like already nervous because I got like 100 cameras on me. Everybody's watching and like, what is this even going to feel like shooting a Sherman tank? And so I pull the cord and I mean, first you can't see this, like the blast is so crazy. My hair's everywhere. And then I turn around and my little best friend is down on one knee.
Aww.
Everybody's screaming like, oh, and then I could tell he was so nervous and I was nervous and crying.
Aww.
Shaking. It was awesome.
I was at that event, but I don't know where I was for that.
Yeah. There was like, a lot of my friends were like, because nobody even knew that was going to happen. And Mike from CMMG was actually trying to like film me shooting it.
Yeah.
And Derek got in front of him. And Mike was trying to get Derek to get out of the way. He's like, dude, watch out. Like, I'm trying to film this. And then he was like, oh, then he saw like Derek get on one knee and saw the box. He was like, oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Man, that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, there's some really good footage of it. Like people definitely, quite a few people got on camera.
Yeah, that was nice though. Cause for a while, like I couldn't post or do anything until people started sending me the videos of it.
Yeah.
There was some funny stuff. So people were posting, they were like, really, she didn't know with all those cameras there. I'm like, it was an event or everybody had cameras.
We're about to shoot a tank. So of course people are going to have their phones out,
There was cameras and stuff all day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That blast, if you watch some of the videos, people recording with their phones, the blast knocked people's phones out of their hand.
Wow. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. We got to do some cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take another quick break, talk about IWI. One of my favorite full-size pistols is still the Masada. It's one of those guns that they just have great ergonomics. Like if I had to describe it comfort-wise, I mean, it's very close to like a VP9, which I feel like it fits really well in your hand. And the best thing about it is like the price. So MSRP on this is $480, which is insane. It's full-size, optic ready. I mean, nowadays, like if you're buying an optic ready pistol, I mean, they add on like at least $100. Comes with 4 mounting plates. A bunch of my patrons have it. They really love it. Definitely check it out. IWI.us while you're there. If you want to get any like spare mags, swag, accessories, anything like that, just remember, use that code GUNFUNNY15 and it gets you 15% off their web store. And that is IWI.us. Jen, you actually, you just got COVID, right? Pretty recently?
Yeah.
How was that?
I feel like I was pretty lucky, just like I got a lot of friends who are pretty healthy, that I've seen were in the hospital and, had to get oxygen. So I didn't even really think I had it. I just I got tested just to know if I needed to be cautious and be away from people even more.
Mm-hmm.
And I was headed to the only ladies only match, which I love because like in 3-gun, I mean, it's tough to compete against the guys. Women don't get first,
Mm-hmm.
because you're like running up hills and you got all this heavy gear and, we beat a lot of guys, but I mean, even the top women still might be like 20th place, 60th place, against the guys. So this time you get to go, you get beat women against women. And so, you get to be first or you get to be sixth. And like, it feels so much better than being like 85th. So, and then you get to win guns because you walk the prize table in order of finish. Well, 80th place, you're not going to get a gun. You're going to get like a hat and a sticker. So with the women's match, it's highly supported by the sponsors. And so, I mean, the top 20 women get guns. And so I usually take home a couple guns because it's like 2 matches in one, get some trophies. So it's a big ego booster, but we were already to Cincinnati, like headed to Missouri. And then I got the email that it was positive. And it's oh. So I had to come home and we quarantined for 10 days, me and Derek and the boys. And we went and just stayed in a little cabin in the woods, stayed away from people. We rode bikes and horses and fished. Like we were outside every day and we were hiking. I was a little out of breath. I mean, I could tell as I came up a hill, like, I felt a little bit more out of shape, that wasn't 100%, but
It
I
was,
really wouldn't have known.
yeah.
Really, I just thought it was like allergies, and I was a little tired.
Yeah.
So
I've
I was
actually
very
heard the same
fortunate.
thing. I've heard the same thing from people. They're like, honestly, if I didn't get tested, I wouldn't have known. It just felt like it was like allergies or something. Let's talk about your sponsor. So CMMG is one of your sponsors, Crimson Trace. Who else?
So I've got ESS, Eye Safety Systems. They're owned by Oakley. They are my glasses. Facts on Firearms. I have a PCC from them that I shoot for, and Hogue. They make like the accessories like grips, and Kinsey's Optics. They've kind of been with me from the beginning. So even though I'm like with Crimson Trace, like Kinsey sells Crimson Trace, and so they're kind of like an optics planet, like a warehouse. They help with some like match fees, and if I need something that maybe Crimson Trace doesn't have. Dogwood Shooting Supplies, like a new little ammo company that one of my buddies owns. He's been helping us with ammo for competition. And Caldwell, on the targets, and pretty much anything from AOB, Lockdown, which is more really on the classes side in the security of the guns, and Sentry Hex Mag.
Nice.
I think that's it.
Okay, awesome. Is there anything else that you can tell us about that you have, any future plans or stuff like that?
Well, we started building a little cabin. I mean, it's really tiny. Like our first one's about 20 by 20, and then the next one's like 16 by 24. So we're learning as we go. We just got like walls upright.
And what are you doing with these cabins?
So we just started an Airbnb with the first one, and it's fully rented, and it's here in the woods, and it's overlooking the creek where I've got my kayaking business. And I didn't know, would people even come to this like middle of nowhere, Southern Ohio?
Yeah.
And I have people from like Michigan, North Carolina, and I mean, people are driving like 5 and 6 hours just to stay here for 2 days. And, it's got a hot tub, and it's just like a nice little getaway. And so we've been so crazy booked that we started building another one. And so that's going to help fund our shooting.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's awesome. That sounds so like, almost makes me want to go and look for a cabin to like Airbnb. I'm like, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Yeah, Derek jokes all the time. He's like, I never thought I'd be a cleaning lady. And I'm like, stop. It's like the easiest money we've ever made.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. For listeners who want to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Gun Girl Jen. I do have a YouTube channel, but it's still pretty small. We got to start working on that this winter. Instagram is Gun Girl Jen, and my Facebook page is just Jen Blake.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, moving on with the rest of the show. You mentioned Caldwell, and you also mentioned that you have like a little, range, like you said 5 acres, right?
Yep. And
so you've been setting up, some Caldwell steel, which I also, it's funny because I was like working on my range, this summer, getting it. It finally like is where I wanted it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's record all this content. And then sure enough, my freaking house, hot water heater erupts and it floods. And I have not been to the range since. I don't even know what the hell it looks like right now. But yeah, it just sucked. But how has it been with you, I guess furnishing your range with Caldwell steel and stuff?
It's pretty awesome because, I mean, most people around here are just used to shooting holes in paper.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh my gosh, they're afraid to shoot metal. And then you get them to shoot steel, and they see how much fun it is. Like, we're not worrying really about where the hit was.
Yeah.
Like it was a hit. So
yeah, exactly.
Like they leave a more positive note, like just paper is kind of boring.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm totally right there with you. And it's just like, and you can hear it too. So even if you're like not sure, it's like unlike paper, you're like, did I get it? Like depending on the caliber you're shooting, you're like, I can't even see my hits in the target. But if you're shooting steel, it's like, that like audible like satisfaction. Like you're like, all right, I know I got it.
Oh yeah. And I can be watching everything on the gun in their hands and not even have to watch the target. Yeah. Like I know it was a hit.
Yeah.
And I can keep my eyes on them.
Yeah, definitely. They have some really affordable options. I mean, you can get like a 5-inch target for as low as $20, which is pretty insane for some steel. I mean, and it's quality steel. I mean, when we were shooting machine guns at it, it held up really well.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like we were trying to tear them up.
yeah,
Miniguns like 6,000 rounds a minute, and yeah,
yeah,
they move.
it was fun. So if you guys want to check out some Caldwell steel or anything else that they offer, head on over to caldwellshooting.com. Remember to use the code GUNFUNNY10. You're going to get 10% off your first order. Today in politics.
Politics. What is going on in the world today? It's political AF.
This really isn't much, like nothing new, but the red flag law is on the move. So the Federal Extreme Risk Protection Order Act would allow gun seizures and denial of a person's right to their firearms without the opportunity to defend themselves in all 50 states. The bill was introduced by Democrat Lucy McBath from Georgia. Before that, she was the faith and outreach leader for Moms Demand Action for half a decade. 114 Democrats are co-sponsors of the bill, and this week the bill passed the House Judiciary Committee on a party line vote. This bill would allow police or family members to seek a court order from a judge ex parte, meaning the person is not present to defend themselves, to subject the person's gun rights for 14 days, which could be extended to 180 days. 12 states already have these. Congressman Jim Jordan blasted the bill. He said, by depriving individuals of their property and rights without having been charged or convicted of a crime, this bill violates constitutional due process rights set out in the 5th and 14th Amendment. In the Democrat-controlled House, the bill, it'll probably pass. In the Senate, we have a prayer stopping it, but this doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't start writing to all of your congressmen, senators, tell them, to absolutely oppose it, because I just think the bill is, dangerous altogether. I mean, we've already seen in the past when people go knocking on doors trying to take people's firearms, like it hasn't ended very well. There's other protection orders installed where, if somebody commits a crime or something like that. But a lot of these people are just, anybody could accuse you of anything. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, even social media, that's like the perfect example of somebody could accuse you of bullying and you're just like, what? And you can't even, half the time, you can't even dispute it. And it's just like your account gets, taken down or you're banned for however many days. It's just BS. Manticore Arms, if you're building an AR and you're like me, you've got a bunch of accessories laying around, you need to check out the Transformer rail. They're great because you can install different panels for M-Lock or key mod on the same rail. So you can use your favorite accessories from different mounting styles and you're not stuck with just one. They also come with the snakeskin polymer grip panels as well, which I actually have on the 300 Blackout that I just put together. I haven't decided if I am going to put any accessories or not, but they do come with the snakeskin polymer grips. They look pretty awesome. It's just one of those things where it's just, with things changing, let's say, this year it's all about M-Lock, next year it's all about key mod or, vice versa, whatever. At least, new panels could always come out and could replace that. And your handguard isn't going to go. It's not going to be outdated. So definitely check those out at manticorearms.com. Remember to use the code AVAROCKS15, all one word, and you're going to get 15% off your entire order.
Q&A. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Just kidding. Visit gunfunny.com/contact to submit yours.
Today's question is, somebody asked, have you gotten a chance to try out the Uzi yet? And are you going to put an optic on it? Jen, have you ever shot the IWI Uzi?
I haven't.
I haven't shot mine either.
Yeah.
Again, because of the house repairs, which I'm still going through, if anybody's wondering. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about it because every show I just bitch and moan about, all the things that I have to go through. And I thought for sure last week, I was like, yep, it's going to be done. And I spoke too soon. So I'm not even going to say anything when I think it's going to be done, because The truth is just the contractors, I'm convinced that the industry just sucks. Like they say they're going to do something and then they don't show up for 2 days and yeah, whatever. So I haven't had a chance to shoot it. It's definitely on my list because it just looks awesome. I haven't decided if I'm going to put an optic on it. Like I was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I saw IWI post a picture of like an Uzi with an optic. And I was like, okay, that actually looks pretty badass. But I wasn't going to. But then after seeing that picture, I'm like, well, maybe I will. But I don't know. I don't know. The great thing about it, though, is it does come with like standard iron sights, which is great. So you can shoot it right out of the box, which a lot of guns these days don't. And, and I hate that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Tacti Talk. Discussing popular guns and gear. Love it? Hate it? Find out now.
All right, today in Tacti Talk. So this is pretty cool. You guys know that Biden's executive order banning the importation of ammo from Russia is definitely, it sucks because right now ammo's hard to get. They're not catching up. It has come down a little bit in price and as far as like supply and stuff, but it's still not like 2019. And then, of course, with this, banning the importation of ammo from Russia, that hurts because like Tula, Wolf, all that cheap steel cased ammo just went up in price and it's not going to be available on shelves anymore. I guess the full effect of the ban, which hasn't been forced yet, but currently, I guess Russian ammo amounts to about 20% of the ammunition imported into the US, which is pretty huge. But there is some exciting news. So cheap steel case ammo is going to be made right here in the US, which if nothing else, like after like COVID and all the supply stuff, I really hope that if nothing else, it has kind of taught us to start making more stuff in the US and like stop relying on like companies overseas. And then maybe Christmas wouldn't be ruined, But anyway, so last week, Atlantic Firearms posted that Palmetto State Armory had purchased tooling and equipment to produce steel case ammo from an unnamed Eastern European manufacturer. This week, the CEO of JJE Capital Holdings, which owns PSA, posted on AR15.com that the rumors were in fact true. He said 7.62 by 39, 5.45, and 54R will be manufactured in the U.S. under our Soviet Arms brand. This project is a very large construction and manufacturing project that has been going on for about a year. Our current timeline has the first steel cases rounds coming off of line in 2023. Of course, any project this large can see delays. We should be able to make up for most of the missing Russian imports, which is great news.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, especially because even like I just got the IWI Galil and I chose to have it in the caliber of 7.62 by 39, because I do have quite a bit of 7.62 by 39, but, long term, I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe I should have went with like 5.56,
Yeah.
But, maybe by the time I run out of ammo, in 2023, PSA will step up their game and make ammo affordable again and, and available. So
hopefully.
Yeah. But that is great news. If nothing else, it's still, it's manufactured in the US, which I think we definitely need to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you want to upgrade your sights, check out TrueGlow. They make some sights for like bows and arrows, as well as guns. Some of my favorites are the fiber optic sights, and they like pop up, which I think they had like a much brighter color, making them super easy to acquire quickly, which you're probably familiar with, like when you do competition shooting and you have to get on target like at an insane, time. It is definitely kind of nice to have this advanced technology that kind of works in favor, especially if it's like really sunny out or maybe it's not so sunny. The fiber optic sights always kind of worked in my favor. They also have, they have sights for everything: rifle, pistol, shotgun, and like I said, bow and arrow. They also have tritium for low light on concealed carry guns. And one of my favorites, the TFX Pro sights, which have both tritium and well-protected fiber optic that's sealed. so it won't fall out like it, which we've seen happen in like competition style fiber optics. Definitely check all of those out and a lot more at trueglow.com. Remember, if you use the code GUNFUNNY20, you're going to get 20% off. And that is anything at GSM Outdoor Brands. All right, so this week in AF.
Stupid, funny, cool, interesting, awesome, never mind. AF.
Did you see the new gun that Springfield announced this week? I guess this week they announced a new pistol. Well, it's actually an old pistol that they were bringing back to the market. It's the SA-35. It's the reincarnation of the pistol. Legendary firearms inventor John Moses Browning died while inventing this, which was finished by Fabrique Nationale de Herzl, which is just FN, and released as the GP-35, commonly known as the Browning High Power. It's kind of funny because all the people that typically like rag on Springfield, they were actually all giddy about this one, the thought of owning a high power from Springfield. So Springfield, they announced the gun on social media with a black and white picture of a guy working at a bench with a picture of John Browning M14, a Springfield logo on his shirt, and the caption, "We're bringing it back." Well, European American Armory Corp, also known as EAA, decided to have a little fun at Springfield's expense and did a little photoshopping. They put the EAA logo on the guy's shirt, changed the M14 to one of their shotguns, added a picture to the bench of someone I think is from EAA, and included details that the Gershon MC P35 begins shipping in November. They posted it with the caption that said, "Already been brought." Springfield, Springfield obviously wasn't amused. They filed suit against EAA in U.S. District Court for copyright violations, seeking to enjoin EAA from using the artwork in any way and force them to destroy any promotional materials that they have created, as well as seeking damages and attorney fees. In the filing document, Springfield states EAA copied Springfield's advertising and photo and made their minor edits to the photo and advertisement in order to portray it as originated from EAA. EAA published the altered photo to promote EAA's products and to divert customers from purchasing Springfield Armory's products. This infringes Springfield's copyright rights and constitutes unfair competition, among other violations, under the Lanham Act. I don't know how I feel about this. Sometimes I'm like, dude, okay, welcome to the internet, Springfield, like take a joke. But then I'm also kind of like, yeah, that was actually kind of shitty,
Yeah.
So there's definitely good arguments on both sides.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm kind of used to that. Like when I shop for HK, everybody always like makes fun of HK or like memes about them and how we're HK and we hate you and But they're pretty good about taking the jokes and
I know. And then that's also one of the things I hate how there's so much internal hate. And I'm like, really? I feel like we're getting enough lawsuits from like external companies that we really have to be like suing each other internally. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then again, I'm like, well, if I was Springfield and I just released this gun, I was all excited about it. And for once, the public liked me for it. I mean, let's face it, Springfield does get a lot of hate for, a lot of like their political actions in the past. For once, people are like, oh, okay, kind of like cheering for him. And then that's quickly dissolved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd be mad about that.
Yeah. I don't know. But I guess on that note, if you guys haven't checked out Springfield's new gun, you could see it on their Instagram. It looks like a pretty cool gun. I haven't got my hands on one, but it does look pretty cool. All right. Well, it is time to wrap up iTunes reviews. Guys, thanks so much for everyone who wrote an iTunes review. I said this week that I was going to be giving away a lockdown puck, which, Jen, do you have any experience with that?
Yeah.
Probably do, right? Because they also included it in the gun cases that they gave us. There was a puck in each case.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one in my gun safe. I have like some wall art that like hides guns. I have like a Dakota Tactical, like MP5 with quick access. So I've got that in there. And especially like with having kids.
Yeah.
Like I trust them and they say that they're never going to touch the guns, but still like.
Yeah. So what's great about the puck is like if there's any sort of movement it'll alert your phone. So you'll know if somebody's trying to get into your safe. That's really great. Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to find more about, that, head on over to Lockdown. But in the meantime, I am giving away one of their pucks to a lucky winner that Jen picks out of 2 reviews. The first review is Durf, the Tactical A-Hole. You make Monday so much easier. 5 stars. Great show. Learn some things about Israel and their armed forces. To have the talent to take a non-shooter and make them one of the best. I'm sure you and Tickles can do the same. When your house got flooded out, did Tickles go into SEAL operation? Hang in there. Soon it will be finished and you will be home again. We're all pulling for you, and keep up the great work. Love your shows. Second review is MMR Glow. Awesome. 5 stars. My husband listens to your podcast and I also enjoy when he has it on. Your last guest from Israel was excellent. Keep up the awesome work and keep fighting for the Second Amendment. Jen, who do you think, the first or the second review?
I'm going to say the first one because that was like really sweet.
Yeah. But I did like the second one. That it's kind of cool that hey, the husband has it on and she listens, and she was nice enough to leave a review. So you know what?
True.
Normally I don't do this. Normally it's like whatever the guest pick. I'm like, yeah, okay. Because I that was, it's nice too that you're like pulling for me, and you understand like the pain that I'm going through with the home construction.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to send you guys both out a puck. Just hit me up on gunfunny.com, click on the contact us form, and just let me know a good address to send that out to you guys. And in the meantime, it's time for us to finally wrap up so that you can get back to your cabin. Which I'm so jealous, and also just like really impressed that you guys are just building this cabin.
Yeah.
It like makes me, like I said, it makes me want to build a cabin. But anyway.
It's not anything I ever thought I was going to do.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what's like kind of fun about life. Like I never thought that I would learn so much about the construction world and tile and drywall. And here I am just working on my house every day because, the contractors don't show up. But all right, guys. Well, if you want to find me, you can just head on over to gunfunny.com. There's links to all of that stuff, social media. Like I said, Instagram. Don't forget to enter the giveaway for Primary Arms, the optic that they're giving away every month for the rest of the year. If you enjoy the show, you want to become a Patreon, definitely, go to gunfunny.com, click on the support the show link, and you can support the show that way. Blown Deadline, he gives away a $300 gift certificate to a lucky patron each month. He does some awesome Cerakote jobs. Also wanted to thank the $25 Patrons, Corbin Bonafide, Iraq Veteran 8888, Sake Holsters, Justin Paulson, Jason Anderson, Sportsman's Guide, Daniel Treadwell, Keith Callamore, and Melissa Ridings. King of the Patreon is still Jon Snow. He wants me to say that Operator Tickles was abducted by aliens, probed them, and ordered them back to their own planet. And you know who Operator Tickles is, right?
Yeah.
My dog. Yeah. All right, Jen. Well, thanks again for joining me. And
it's good talking to you.
Can you just remind listeners once again where they can find you on social media so they can give you a follow?
Yeah, super easy. Just Gun Girl Jen.
All right, cool. Well, thank you again. Like I said, and on that note, we're out of here. You get back to your cabin. I'm going to get back to stressing about my house. And, oh, wait, you know what? Let's end the show. So it is Halloween. So happy Halloween, guys. Are you dressing up?
No, but I am going to a party later.
You're going to go to
a lady across the street. I don't know.
You're not
I might throw something together.
Or something.
I could probably throw something together.
How do you go to a party? You don't put something on.
I know. Well, it's across the street, and like the neighbor there, she's got like a fountain of blood. I don't know, like you dip stuff in this fountain of blood and eat it, and fingers, and yeah. I owe her, I guess, to dress up.
Yeah, no kidding. Just get some toilet paper, wrap around your body, and go as a mummy or something. And there you go. Cheap. It would have been cheap. 2019 prices, but now toilet paper's gone up. So
yeah,
I mean,
and the party's out. The party's outside, and it's gonna rain. So.
Yeah. Okay. Then, nah, don't do it. Just put a sheet on. Poke 2 holes. You're a ghost.
I think I still have a Rambo costume. SHOT Show a few years ago, Cry Precision was having an 80s party.
Yeah.
And nobody told me the full details. It was like an 80s high school prom party.
Yeah.
I just was told like 80s. So I came head to toe as Rambo. Camel pants. I even had like a fake Rambo knife.
Oh my
I had a
God. That's amazing.
I had a bandolier on, like a black tank top. I had tattoos of like scrapes and wounds, like I'd been in the jungle fighting.
Yeah.
I had a black mullet wig. It was all like curly with a red bandana. I even had dog tags that said Rambo.
Wow.
I mean, the glasses. And then I get in there and
Pull that
everything
out.
is like neon and slap bracelets and like lunch lady stuff. It's like, here I am in combat boots. And
Don't you hate it when I've totally been there before. I've been there before when I didn't get the full memo and I was like, yeah, 70s, okay. And they're like, that looks more like 60s. You show up like some crackhead hippie and they're like, nah, that's not really okay.
yeah, it's pretty memorable though. That looks stupid.
Well, I've decided this year I'm not like really going all out. I have in the past, but just with everything going on, but I've decided I'm going to be a crazy plant lady. So I guess I'm not really dressing up, but I got a really cute costume for Tickles, which we're friends on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So I posted a picture. It's this Monstera leaf that goes around her head. So she looks like a Monstera. It's so freaking cute. And then I
saw that.
Yeah. And then I have a shirt that says crazy plant lady. And then I have Monstera leggings and I'm just going to like hold plants and maybe pass out some clippings. Who knows? But that's what I'm going to be.
But that's kind of like who you are in real life.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, maybe I'm not. Oh, you're right. All right. On that note, let's go both work on our costume. We got to up our costume game. But for anyone who's listening and it's Monday, happy Halloween. Be safe out there. Stay warm. And I will talk to you guys next week.
Want to send feedback? Tell us about a company or anything else. Go to gunfunny.com/contact.